This video is going to review proportions, two types of proportions, one where we have an easier case scenario and then some where we have to use our cross product rule. So here is a review. What is a proportion? Well, a proportion is when two ratios or rates are equal to one another. We can look at two fractions or two ratios and ask ourselves, are they proportional or not? In this video, we're going to show you how to solve proportions looking for patterns and using our cross product rule. Let's take a look at this. This is a proportion because 4 over something is going to be the same as 8 over 10. To figure out what our missing variable is, we can look for a direct relationship here. And for example, what do I do to 4 to get 8? Well, I can multiply by 2. 4 times 2 gives me 8. And going backwards, that means 8 divided by 2 should give me 4. So to figure out what x is worth, that x times 2 should give me 10. And going backwards, 10 divided by 2 should give me x. So 10 divided by 2 gives me 5, which means x is 5 in this case. Those are our easier proportions when we have a direct relationship between numbers. Let's take a look at a word problem. The ratio of teachers to students is 1 to 20, which means for every 1 teacher there are 20 students. If there are 5 teachers, how many students are there? Well, using a proportion, using units to help us, we can figure out that missing piece. The ratio of teachers to students is 1 to 20. So 1 teacher and 20 students. And if there are 5 teachers, how many students are there? Well, I want to know how many students are there. So from 1 to 5, I can multiply by 5. So which means to figure out that missing piece, I can take 20 and multiply by 5 and get my missing piece. So how many students are there? Well, 20 times 5 gives me 100. So my missing piece, 100 students. Okay, don't forget units. I'm going to abbreviate to save some time. So these are our easiest case scenario proportions where we have direct relationships. Let's take a look at comparing fractions. We want to know, are these fractions 1/2 and 4/8 proportional? Is 2/3 and 4/6 proportional? Is this proportional? We know that this is proportional because if I simplify 4/8, I'm going to get 1/2. But another strategy is to use my cross products. If I multiply my cross products here, 2 times 4, I get 8. That should equal my other set of cross products if indeed they are proportional. 1 times 8 is also 8. So these are proportional. What about 2/3 and 4/6? Well, using mental math, I know that 2 times 2 is 4. And if I do the same to the bottom, 3 times 2 gives me 6. Yes, they are proportional. But another strategy is to use my cross products. 3 times 4 gives me 12, and 6 times 2 also gives me 12. So yes, those are proportional. Let's take a look at this example. 30 times 4. Well, 3 times 4 is 12, so 30 times 4 is 120. And then if I multiply 22 times 6, I'm going to get 132. So in this case, these are not proportional because my cross products are not the same. In fact, this fraction right here is bigger compared to 4/6. So using my cross products, that can really help me decide if they are proportional or if they're not, and which one is bigger and which one is smaller. Finally, let's take a look at our cross product rule. These situations I'm going to use my cross product rule because there is no whole number I can multiply 5 by to get 6. It's not an easy path to go, as in our last examples. So what we need to use is our cross product rule. And that tells me that if I multiply my cross products, I can find the missing variable because they should be equal to one another. A times D equals B times C. That's the rule. But now let's use some numbers here. So my cross product rule tells me 2 times 6 should be equal to 5 times x, which is 5x. Let's simplify. 2 times 6 gives me 12. So 12 is equal to 5 times something. And what we learned from class is I have an equation here, and I need to get x by itself. Right now I have a coefficient of 5, so whatever x is worth, I have 5 of them. To get x by itself, I need to divide by 5. Because if we cover up this x, 5 divided by 5 gives me 1. And on this side of my equation, I have 1x left over. Now, likewise, if we do something to one side, we know in math that we need to treat all parts equally, so I need to divide this side by 5 as well. This is saying, what is 12 divided by 5? So we need to do some math here. 5 goes into 12 2 times, and I get 10. Remainder of 2, add a decimal, and a 0. 5 goes into 20 4 times. Okay, which means x is worth 2.4. Now we couldn't have seen that initially because there was no direct relationship between my denominators here. But if I use my cross product rule, I can easily figure out what that missing variable is worth. Thank you for watching my video.